Growing up, I had a lot of schooling experiences because I moved a lot from third grade all the way till college. I was in various different school settings. Um, I started in Indian Lake, which is a somewhat rural school. Um, I stayed there till third grade, and there was a lot of diversity when it comes to race. There was more white kids than anything. There was a lot of black kids as well, and that the same thing was at Shawnee, where I moved at during third grade, and I stayed there until eighth grade. There was a lot of black people in the school. There's a lot of white. There's a lot more white people, and so it was. I don't know. It was easy to. It just seemed like getting along with them was just. I don't know. It just seemed normal. But then I moved. Oh, then in eighth grade I got homeschooled for half the year, a little bit over half the year, and that exposed me to what it's like to not have that diversity and the people in your classroom and not have a normal classroom. And then after homeschooling, I moved to Bath, which is where I finished high school, and it is a rural school with, and it is pretty much all white kids. There was literally a few black kids and a few Hispanic kids and a few Asian kids, and that's about it. There was a majority of white people. So in high school, um, it just kind of benefited me a lot to be white. I didn't have near as many struggles. It was just the school was kind of fixed to it be an advantage to white people. Um, for the curriculum, I had college prep, general education, and special education classes. And we also had a vocational school that was very near to Bath that you could go to if you wanted to get trained in a skill or a trade. Um, I fit in pretty well because I was white, playing sports. I mean, that made it pretty easy to fit in. I ran cross country for 2 years, and I wrestled for all 4 years, and I made friends through that way. So a lot of my friends were white people, but when I went to middle school, a lot of my friends were black people because that's who I all I could relate to. Because my social class wasn't really the highest. I made friends with people that were in the same shoes as me, in the same boat as me. So I've always been friends with everybody, and social capital affected my schooling a lot because where I'm from, it seemed like it was all about who you knew and your social standing. And for me, when I moved a lot, I didn't really have time to get settled in one spot and get have it get any better. So it definitely affected me because I wasn't well known in any school until I finally stayed in Bath for a while and got to know people and get around the community a little bit more. Uh, my ideology didn't really affect my schooling experiences because I, from when I was young, I was always hanging out with everybody, anybody that would want to hang out with me, regardless of what they were like outside of school. It was more of I was going to be friends with everybody because I needed friends. I don't know. The ideology of my schooling and my school system wasn't really didn't really affect me a whole lot. Um, but they definitely going coming from a rural school where it was mainly white people. They definitely had the schooling system geared towards white people, so I definitely benefited from that. Um, Up until high school, my social class, I wasn't really extremely wealthy, so I hung out with kids that weren't really that wealthy either. They didn't really have nicer things, and then in high school, I started getting nicer things, and I hung out with people that were pretty much the same as me. Um, but yeah, my schooling experience was always pretty integrated, and it benefited me a lot in the long run.